Some people, when you're going to talk to them or when you're meeting them, you don't even know, so what exactly are we going to talk about? Because they themselves are full of conversations, you know, they have a whole lot of angles to their lives, and this is one of the people who are like that in our country. I mean, this woman, you know, has all kinds of ideas. I mean, considering she is into acting, she is a writer, very opinionated, producer, you know,
she's
and sometimes
artist, like everything.
And an entrepreneur. You know, sometimes you might think that people who are strictly into showbiz would not show any interest in like serious stuff, you know, in society. But this is one person who loves to talk politics, loves to talk about everything. And ladies and gentlemen, today we are having a beautiful conversation with the ever beautiful, the adorable Lydia Forson.
I know we're talking about the past. Besides, I never asked you about yours.
And you're perfectly okay with not knowing anything about my past?
You are my husband's lover. You have to tell me everything. And when I say that, I mean everything.
Get out. Do you know it's criminal to share videos like this? Do you understand that?
Is raping a 21-year-old.
What did you say?
You guys were describing. Wow, that's like, is that me? Is that all me?
That's all you.
Wow.
You know, sometimes people write your CV for you and you don't know that you've achieved all these that you have.
So I was like, wow,
yes.
Award winner, like we can go on. The list is
that's why I said she's full of conversations, you know.
Wow, thank you guys.
But you know, I just found out, you know, that you've lived in the U.S., growing up in the U.S., and then you came back to Akosombo International, and then you went to Kumasi, and then you came back to Accra, and you are a Fanti. So it looks like you've been all around. How has this shaped you?
I think, you know, when I try to explain the way I see life and the things I write about and speak on, people don't appreciate that, you know, it's because of these things, you know, growing up where I've been, the interactions. I grew up in a mission house, you know, my father's a reverend, you know, my uncle was a chief, you know, there's just so many experiences I've gone through and people I've had an encounter with that I always see life from a very different point of view.
How do you see life?
I appreciate life as it's not black and white. There's several gray areas. When you're dealing with, I love human psychology and all of those things, because I feel like we are all a product of our environment, our experiences. So when I'm having an interaction with someone, whereas someone will say, okay, why is this person like this? I try to go into the person's mind, where they are coming from. I feel like there's so much to this world we don't know and we've not seen. There's so much to their cultures and our practices. So I'm also not a judgmental person, because I've traveled to countries where I've seen, you know, the things people practice there that we find are foreign, but it's very normal.
Wow, interesting.
And so, growing up as a daughter of a pastor or a reverend, how has it been?
It was amazing. Everybody, I love talking about, you know, my experience with my family in the mission house. My father, I am who I am because of my parents. My father is very opinionated. My parents, you know, gave us the opportunity to go out there and, you know, figure life out. I read a lot. You know, my father would, you know, my mom loves to read, my father loves to read, my brothers love to read. So it was an amazing experience because I was also very grounded in my principles in life, the way I treat people. It is something that is embedded in who I am. So again, whenever I'm talking about issues in society, it can always seem like, is she just doing this, you know, for attention? But they don't understand that this is who I am and how I've been brought up.
Wow. So what you love
I'm getting wow, is that wow?
No, it's interesting, you know, because sometimes we hear you talk, we read some of your stuff, and we don't know your background maybe pretty well, and so we kind of bring what we see out there and use that to judge who you are. But knowing where you're coming from, it all makes sense now. What are some of the things that you love to write about? What you love to speak about?
You know, I like to always look at a different angle. When someone commits a crime, for instance, when everybody is bashing the person for the crime, I want to understand the why. Like, why did you do it? Like, I'm the kind of person, if you're dating me and then you do something wrong, I'm like, let's have a conversation. You know, people don't like conversation. No, but why? Why did you do it?
Yeah.
You know, is this trauma from your childhood? You know?
Yeah, you try to do the whole
just to understand.
You know, so whenever I'm writing about anything, it's just for me trying to see an angle that everybody else. I always say that the world there's a left and there's a right, and there are people like us who keep the balance, and that's where I am. That I'm neither too far left or right. That's my thought process.
What's your interest in politics?
You know, it's not interest in politics. It's interest in humanity.
Okay.
I believe that we all need to be in a world where, and it's very idealistic of me, but I believe that we need to be in a world where everybody has the basics in life: food, shelter, water, you know, the basic amenities. So it's not even about politics. It is a desire for me, because I know what it's like to not have, and I know what it's like to have.
You mentioned that you've seen how it is like to have and how it is like not to have. Now, when I look at where you are coming from, you know, starting life, you know, in the US, coming back to Akosombo International, going to St. Louis, and then to University of Ghana, and now you are a star. I don't see anywhere that you lack or you did not have anything.
You know, when they're writing your story, they never write about the upcoming. You know, everything you said is nice, but they don't write about the in between.
So
I mean, I grew up, you know, comfortable. My parents were never rich, but it was, you know, modest. My father's a reverend. You know, we're not making that much, but they did, you know, the best to provide. You know, America, of course, thanks to my father's schooling opportunity. So I got lucky in the things I was exposed to and had access to. But I also know what it's like to grow up in a mission house, and then it's summertime and everybody's going to, you know, France, and you can't afford to go to. And then after school life, my parents cannot take care of me forever. You know, I had to learn to take care of myself. And I had some really, you know, dark moments in my life where, like, even water I could not, you know, afford at some point, you know.
Like what?
And I was a hustler, and people, my friends around me always, like, look at me in awe, like, how do you do this? Because I would put people, you know, first. And you start a career where you, even though you finish university, you have a great, I always tell people that show business is amazing, but it's a sacrifice. And this is what I felt was my calling. But then it means not getting paid what I wanted to get paid, and making some poor choices as well with how you spend. And then you find yourself, you know, broke, and you can't afford certain things, and you have to hit the reset, you know, button. So I know what it's like not to have, simply because of my upbringing, and maybe decisions I've also made in my life. So. And the reality is, after school in Ghana,
you're on your own.
You're on your own. Where are you going? The job that you are getting, you can't afford your transportation. You have to pick your truck.
Can't afford rent.
No matter how rich you are.
You have to go to the salon.
Yes.
You have to go to the salon. Like, no matter how rich you are, unless your parents are buying your car, everything, right after school, life hits you hard.
Really hard.
And if you're working in a bank or a firm, they're paying you maybe 400, 500 cedis. That's me being generous. You have to use some of that for transportation, some of that to dress up. You know,
sometimes
food.
rent.
You have to chill with your friends. You know, it's hard for both young girls and boys. And then, how do you even move out of your parents' house? How do you afford your rent? That 1 year, 2 year. The society is already set up against you. So I think my struggles, almost everybody has been through these kinds of struggles, and coming out of it, I understand what it's like to be down there, and it is my responsibility to make sure that people don't have to go through the things I did.
True, your responsibility. So a few days ago, you put an interesting tweet out, and it says, again, if your vote was worthless, politicians wouldn't be playing Chaskele every 4 years to get it. What was that about?
You know, I sympathize, and I appreciate people's frustration about voting. Like, I mean, I don't want to vote, and they are the same and all of that. But you see, if your vote didn't have power, they would not do so much for it every 4 years. In fact, a lot of us only care about politics during elections. And politicians only listen to you during elections. But if you knew the power of your vote, after voting for or against whoever, you keep them on their toes throughout because they work for you. We see politicians with their siren. I'm not scared of politicians because I know that they are there to serve us. And I want us to get to the point where we understand that. It is their responsibility. You see, even in traditional settings, you have respect for the chief. But it's the chief's responsibility to make sure that everybody, that's why people would go to war because the chief has said, because they trusted their chief and they were well taken care of. The problem with us is we treat politicians like they are here and we are there. And then we don't think that anything is going to change because we are not willing to be part of the change. So I always tell people, vote. People say, well, it's the same. I said, it's not the same. You have, how many policies do you know? How many politicians have you questioned? We're talking about presidential, but we have MPs as well.
Of course.
You have your DCs sitting there. You have your assemblymen. Everybody matters. But then we all sit down, complain, and then when it's time to vote, we are just tickled, and you feel like there's so many other candidates on the ballot boards, and I'm not even advocating for that. But I'm saying, don't say you don't have a choice when there are choices.
Would you go into politics fully?
No.
Why not?
No, I never say never to anything. So 5 years from now, if
we will remind you,
Lydia Forson.
Yes.
I've always said, like I started, in this world there's the left and the right, and the people keep the between. I feel like that's my comfort. I don't know how I can be a politician in this setting and be aligned to a particular, like my party people, they'll kick me out at some point because I'm the kind of friend who feels like I have the right to disagree with you and still be your friend. So we need people in positions where they can check whoever comes into power, because we are all compromised to a certain degree. We are all biased to a certain degree. But very few people have the power to say, regardless of who we favor, we are going to still keep them on their toes. And I feel like that's where I have the most power. I'm afraid politics is scary. I've seen friends of mine go into politics, and some of the things they write, I call us, now you get sense. Like, you used to be one of us. You know?
But the way you consider yourself very honest, you want to speak your mind, you want to talk about what is right. If a particular party is doing well, would it be difficult for you to come out and say that, yo, I support what this party is doing and I think it would be right to vote for them? Would you endorse a political party? I have no idea. I really go on how I feel. I have no problem with people endorsing political parties at all. Would you do it?
As I said, I don't know. You know, nobody has moved me to that point. But if it does, I don't think there should be anything wrong with it. I have no problem with my colleagues and all that, but do it for the right reasons. You know, it's because if you can support Manchester and Arsenal,
or Kotoko and Haas.
Kotoko and Haas. I'm a Haas fan.
I'm Kotoko.
We'll talk about that.
It's all right. It's all right.
You should feel free, but do it for the right reasons.
No, your stomach.
What I don't like about this, you see, my fear is I know myself. I can endorse you, but I'm the same person that will bash you. Or I can change my mind. And I should be allowed to.
Of course.
So far, nobody has moved me to that point. But I think there's nothing wrong if you want to. If you're doing it for the right reasons, why not? So
when we're collating the voters, then you registered. Did you go and register?
Hey, Papa, even though I didn't understand the necessity, and again, I'm not a politician, I don't know the details. I did not understand why we needed to do this during this pandemic. I'm all about human life first, and it just didn't make any sense to me. But then my vote is my power, and so it's a sacrifice I had to make, even though it was dragging me to the well unwillingly. But I did. My entire family did.
So have you always wanted to be an actress?
I think to a certain degree, I've always wanted to be in show business. There's a video of me which we are still trying to look for. When I think I was 6 years old, I was a CNN reporter. My parents recorded. I loved, television. I loved writing. I feel like I wrote my first book when I was in class 1. It was a 5-page book, but
no, congratulations. That's a great achievement.
My teacher at the time, they did it. They put it in a paperback and everything. So I've always been fascinated by, arts. I think it's also because growing up in a mission house, we moved around a lot. So it was just my brothers and I. So we had to find creative ways to, you know, have fun. It was really just us. So we watched movies a lot, you know, did a lot of, you know, rapping and all of those things.
Wow.
So I always knew that I was drawn into the arts.
So you started with Hotel St. James, and it's been one hit after the other, and today this is you sitting here. You know, you've done amazing with Sparrow Productions and other international collabos that you have done. Currently, what is going on in our movie industry?
So you know what, I predicted this thing probably about maybe 6 years ago. I said that, you know, the industry is going to move to a point where the consumers are going to be very sophisticated, and we can no longer just give them anything. You know, they are very judgmental about what they receive, and through that we are going to force to structure. And I think we are getting there. People always like to say, like, one thing I would never say is the industry is dead, because like I'm still working, I'm still doing movie. Perfect Picture was trending on Netflix.
It's beautiful. I watched it.
Thank you so much.
So amazing.
And those are the things I like to, you know, focus on. So the industry is going through a phase just like any other. The question is, are we prepared to adapt? Are we prepared to change? Because once upon a time, and I had a conversation with a blogger this morning about, you know, people becoming famous on social media. And I said, I don't have a problem with that, because it is where the industry is at. You know, we didn't have Instagram maybe 8-10 years ago, but that's where we are. So it's up to us to change with the times, or hold on to the past and go like, well, this is not how, you know. So like any other industry, you have your bad moments. It's a struggle, I will not lie. We still haven't gotten to the point where we need to, you know, be appreciated the way we should. But I also believe that it's an opportunity with social media, with the world paying attention to Africa. It is a rare opportunity for us to get in there and, you know, make the industry what it's supposed to be.
Talking about adaptation, streaming services. I mean, our Ghana movie industry, we've seen Netflix, Nigeria. Hopefully soon it will be Ghana. How are we prepared? How prepared are we for something like that?
I think we're prepared, but the problem with, you see, when you talk about maybe Netflix, Nigeria, and all of those things, all these countries have something we don't have, and it's support. See, when you're going into a market as a business person, you need to be sure there's a market that you can gain something from. Nigerians have an appreciation for the arts, and it's not for us politicians, for instance, every year come and throw breadcrumbs at us, and then, you know, because we are hustling, and I can understand why people will grab at this. There's no real respect. Nigeria has seen Nollywood as a way to sell their country, so they pump money, and it's not just government. Big companies pump money into Nollywood. In Ghana here, if I go and sit with a bank and I try and get this, they are looking at me like, of course. And that's when people tell me that, oh, you're too intelligent to be an actress. That in itself is a problem. Because you don't even understand what it means to get into characterization, read a script, you know, method acting. You don't know any of those things. You don't know the intelligence that it requires. So we can get there if everybody's mind changes about what we do, from presenter to makeup artist to costume, to all of those things, crew members. We need to get to a point where people appreciate what we do. Because if we don't, it's hard for people to, because if Netflix come to Ghana and see that we don't rate ourselves.
Then what's the point?
But if Netflix goes to Nigeria and then from the president to whoever, it's like, listen, these are our people. They're already taking care of their people. You have no choice but to play ball.
But like you mentioned, you know, have you guys organize yourselves properly? What is the status of Actors Guild now? So,
although I believe organization is important, I feel like when it comes to us, we are the only people anybody ever asked that question. That means it's still a problem, because people say, and I know it's not from a bad place, that means people still feel like we need to prove that we are, you know, okay.
But is it wrong to feel?
It's not wrong, but I'm saying that we don't ask these questions for other industries, because there's an assumption that it's what they need. So, let me give you an example, like the arts. In our schools, when we are grading people, when you don't do well, they'll give you visual arts. when you go to in university, it's easier to get into the School of Performing Arts than it is to get into business school. When you go to America, it's actually very different. Yale School of Drama takes only 16 students from the world each year. It's one of the most difficult schools to get in. I am talking about the psychology of it. If we don't start from ground up appreciating, it is hard for me to look. We've tried. When you mobilize yourself every year, like I said, every 4 years when politicians come, we all sit down, we do all of those things. You can only mobilize so much. But I don't like the idea that we have to prove something to you for you people to appreciate. It would be interesting for someone to see the relevance of the arts to branding the country and say, look, we need you people to do this for us. And that is what happened to Nollywood. Because as of 15 or 10 years ago, they were still fighting over Actors Guild president. But they were still pumping money into the industry. And I always say I don't speak up just for actors, for the arts as a whole, because we are really struggling and there are talented people there. And if Van Gogh goes for millions of dollars, there's no way, I don't know any, I can't mention names without getting, but Kwesi cannot get, there really is about us appreciating, and then we can maybe take it from there.
But COVID came, and then everything changed upside down.
And then you move to TikTok, and
listen, I'm an evolving human being.
How are you able to do this? Because if you're looking at people psychologically and emotionally, people have just shut down. People have just taken a back seat because they just don't know what else to do. Because COVID did not announce its presence. It did not want anybody. You wake up one day, no shows, no nothing. Don't talk to anybody. Don't greet anybody. How have you survived?
And I hope if bloggers are watching this, they do not, I'm always careful of the injuries. So I'm a very spiritual person. And
you pray a lot?
I pray, I meditate. In 2018, I put out a tweet that said the world is going through a shift. There's an awakening. There's something happening. I don't know what it is. And I just felt like, because as someone who desires for the world to change for the better, you kind of feel these energies. So I put it up, but people were like, no, just dismissing.
So you thought you prophesied?
It's not prophecy. It just felt like the world needed to stop. I feel like we're really losing ourselves as people. Like, where were we really going? Like, it just needed to stop for us to reflect and see that, when COVID came, we truly saw the things that mattered. We talked about human connection. Some of us in our daily life, we're just going here. When's the last time you actually had a conversation with people? Laughed, genuine, laughter. So when COVID came, I felt that we would get it in Ghana, even though I was praying against it. So we were launching our products. We had a date and everything, and I called my team and I said, this thing's not coming. We're not going to. But we don't have COVID. And I'm like, but if something is happening in someone's country and the way it's moving, I think it's insensitive. And then the day I made that decision, that evening, we got our first case. So mentally, I was prepared that, the world is about to change in a way that I don't have control over. So I just said, let me appreciate where we are right now.
One thing I love about you physically is your hair. I think this is so amazing, And so when I saw you with some products, I was like, oh wow,
So you bought some for me so that my hairline.
You need it, man. You need it. Your power command needs this.
Save the hair.
So I was like, wow, this is beautiful. So there's somebody who is growing her hair naturally, and she's been able to, bring out products, not just for her, but for other people who are also into natural hair and all that. I would love to keep natural hair, but it's so much work. I don't think I'll have the energy
Don't
to
worry.
do that.
Don't worry.
Frema, believe it.
It's all in your mind.
I believe it.
You will.
I believe it. I
We
can.
will. We
Yes,
will.
I
We
can.
will.
Yes, I can. So, Lydia, tell us about your product. I am so amazed at the kind of things you do and how you even do it, different angles to your life, to yourself. Let's now veer into Lydia the entrepreneur.
I know, it's so weird when I say
Is it me?
I'm an entrepreneur. Kinky Matters started off as a blog about maybe 7 years ago, 6 years ago. a lot of people didn't know it was my blog. So there are things I just like to do that without necessarily putting my name to it. I had just transitioned to natural hair. I wasn't sure how to care for it. So I was like, people really want to know. So as I was going on my journey, I was documenting and just providing you know, information for other people. Now, with the first product, I'd been wanting to do this since probably 2012.
Okay.
Wow.
So my mother, almost 30 years ago, developed this hair cream that our family had been using. If I'm being very honest, I didn't rate it because it was so good that, you know, it's like you cut your hair grows, so you know that. You know. But my brothers and I had always said.
How many brothers do you have?
I have 2 brothers.
Okay. Are you the only girl?
Yes, I'm the only girl.
No, I know they'll be handsome.
Yeah, cute. We shall talk about that. So I had the blog, and then, you know, with my mother's cream for years, my mom used to do it, and she would sell around to the church. Everybody used to say, your mother's cream, it's a miracle, you know, work. And we had to help her do it, and we hated it. Like every Saturday we had to do it, and she was doing it on a small scale, but she was never able to, you know, commercialize it. So my brothers and I had always said that one day we are going to do this for her. So when I wanted to do the cream, for years I'll sit down like, where do I start? And I just woke up one day and told her that, you know what, we're going to Makola, we're going to get some stuff. And yes, I go to Makola. I've told you I love to go to Makola.
When they see you in Makola,
they don't see me.
They
I
make
like
you
Makola. Makola is everybody, no respect of person.
Makola is like COVID. Nobody is everybody. Yeah.
So we just went there. We did some samples. And I was like, I'm really determined. One, this brand is there's so many layers to this brand. Yes, it started as a blog, but it's really paying homage to my mother and also to the Ghanaian and African woman, because very few people pay attention to us. You know, for years we have had to depend on other races to dictate the things we use for our hair and our skin. And so when I did samples, I sent one to a few friends like, okay, it's what. And then I started using it for my natural hair, like religiously, paying attention. I was like, hey, like the thing really works. But I don't pay that because it's like I mess up my hair and I put it on, and in a few weeks my hairline is back. So I was not paying attention to it. So I gave it to a few friends. So let me document my process, and it was really working. So I had to beg my mom. Like I was like, okay, so can we put it out there? My mom she's very like this about her recipe. I don't want anybody, you know, to know about it. And I was like, well, the world needs to, you know, know. And then, you know, that started our first product, our secret, you know, hair recipe. My friends came back with so many reviews. But again, it's one thing using it for yourself. It's another
for people.
So when I started, I was not even ready to start it as a full-on business. I just started in some 1 CD container. I was like, let me post it and see if people like. And the next thing you know, you are this, you know, you're at FDA, you are doing full on, you know, business, and you know that's where it grew.
And your mom is actually a model for the product. It's so beautiful.
This is all about, you know, my mom.
Wow.
I want to bring, you know, we always say want to unlock Ghanaian heritage and, you know, recipes, because I love. Like when it comes to my skin, I like to use shea butter. I believe that I like to go to the ancient, you know, way of life.
Very good, very good.
But then we are here trying to use things that, because someone has said it works. When we have so many things around us that God from the ground, you know, that God has given us. There's a reason why black don't crack. But if you don't take care of it, it go crack.
You super crack.
Do you understand? So this about my mother, but it's also about, you know, Ghanaianness and, you know, black. I'm unapologetically, you know, black as well.
So there are products for skin and hair.
So this is our hair line. In fact, we literally just launched our full-on range. This is the first place we are bringing it to.
Hello.
So we had our secret. Okay, let me just
get closer.
So this is our bestseller. This is our secret hair recipe that we've had for years. It's for natural hair, but everybody, you know, can use it. Even permed hair.
Okay.
Even,
you know,
us with our hairline.
So
you need it
even
better
you
than
with
anybody.
your hairline.
A very
take care of you.
Expensive hairline.
Don't worry, we'll revive that. So we had it for years. Customers will ask, we want a complete set, but you know, it was important for us to take our time. When you start a business, you're still trying to figure it out, and people can rush you. We didn't want to do that. So it took us about 2 years to formulate and just put our new range. So this is our what you're holding.
That's a shampoo.
That's a shampoo. So this is our shea butter. We call it Inkuto moisturizing and tangling conditioner. It's important for me to always have a Ghanaian element to whatever product we make. So that's why this is called the shea butter Inkuto moisturizing and detangling conditioner. Oh my gosh, it's so weird. I've never thought I'll be on TV talking about it.
Yeah. So this also has Alatasemina. On it.
Yes.
Wow. So
that's the shampoo. Alatasemina is amazing for your hair. So we're just trying to pull on all the things that we use around us, you know, locally. This is one of my favorite things. This is our secret hair drop.
Okay.
So it's a herbal hair oil. Takes several days to make. It's infused with several, you know, herbs sourced from, you know, around Ghana and the continent as well. And it's also for people with receding hairlines.
That got you sorted, somebody.
Hairlines.
No, coughs are not allowed. I hope you know that coughs are not allowed.
To the left.
Well, you need that.
But this is by far my favorite product in the whole. This is called as Milky Silky Smooth. These are bougie, very bougie.
Also for hair or for skin?
No, this
also, what are your points of when we talk about bougie?
No, our skin is not yet in yet.
All right, so
but it's for hair. It's a leave-in conditioner. So this is for the man, for your beard. It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah.
Don't worry. Atu, you are like, we'll take care of you. I feel like we need to sit down and take it like really.
She said it on TV, guys. She said it on TV. She's going to take care of me.
You need a whole consultancy. So we're going to do that. So how has the reception been?
You know what? It's been overwhelming. For me, it's hard when you're an entertainer and you're branching into business and you're coming to a business where several other people have been, and I have so much respect for them. And the question is, are people going to buy because you know Lydia Forson? And so for a very, very long time, a lot of people didn't even know that we own this. It's my mother and I. And so we would we wanted to see how people would respond. And we love the fact that we don't even ask our clients for reviews. They said if you go on our page and you see the before and after picture, sometimes I'm like, I call my husband, so the thing, what is in it? Because this person, the hair was very bad, you know, and it's working. So the reception has really been good because it actually works. My fear was people would buy and then Lydia Forson didn't but it's, you know, it actually works.
Quickly before you go, you know how life in quotes is pretty smooth and everything is on course for you, probably because you thought, you know, earlier about finding something else to do.
It's not on course too.
No, but at least you are not just sleeping at home. No, but it's not bad.
I'm just messing with you.
I know, you know, but you know how now there are some of your colleagues who are not doing anything because nobody anticipated COVID was coming. Nobody felt that, okay, there'll be a time that you can't even be working properly. There's no movie premiering. There's no event for me to go and perform at, you know. But you had something, you had started a business. Would you, you know, agree with people who think that as an entertainer, as somebody in showbiz, you need a side hustle?
As a human being, you need side hustles. It's not just, because COVID came and it's not just the entertainment industry that was here. My anticipation is the reality is life happens. So it's not really, when people talk about entertainers having side jobs, I always tell people that, look, when you finish school and you're doing your national service and you see how much you're earning and you're on social media, you know, coming as celebrities, you're on the same boat. You never know when you're going to lose your job. You never know when, you know, you're going to get sick. You never know when life is going to come at you. So you always have to. So for me, this was not about, okay, I'm an entertainer, because if I'm being honest, for almost 17 years of my life, I've not received a monthly payment. I've been an actress and a brand, and there are good and bad days. Sometimes you get a really good deal, and then for the next 6 months, you don't. You have to have the mind to manage, you know, that. And that has taught us. I think entertainers are actually in a better position because we understand what it's like not to have, and you know, the rainy days. So it's really important for everybody to always look for the next. As a celebrity, I know that one day, in fact, every day someone new comes, you know. So are you going to sit down and go like, I'm going to be the queen for the rest of, or prepare for the next, you know, place to conquer? So it's important that you always have something, or you're always prepared for, you know, things to just go south.
So are you dating?
You heard me. Saying,
oh boy.
The screen has frozen.
Are you dating?
You know what? I made a rule never to talk about my dating life, only because I have nothing to hide. Only because I feel like I made a decision to be in the limelight. It's always unfair for people who are with you to be thrown. I know people talk and people see me. I don't really care as long as I have my peace of mind at the, you know.
We won't ask who.
It's not even about the who. It's just. And plus the mystery is interesting. Remember saying my markets and stuff. I will tell you this: I'm not married. Okay.
That's so it means that you are dating, but you're not married, and so the cost is still clear.
I don't know who made those laws.
No, I'm trying to set one here.
I don't know who made those laws. But so Kinky Matters, she get Kinky Matters, and then support so if a girl's business, like I buy a house, and I can, you know, buy cars and stuff like that. So,
don't you have anybody to buy you a car?
Honey, I buy my own damn car. That song gives me, I'll take. I'm not hypocrite. So as we have to sell cream, you know.
We'll pay for that. Your sister's
sell the cream and put the
in boxes.
But
no, God will do it. Absolutely.
Oh, what won't God do?
Anything, you know. God is able to do anything. Lydia Forson, you are amazing. You are a star. You are a celebrity.
Thank you.
And we are glad to be celebrating you today. And well done in everything that you have achieved.
So
and we are very proud about Kinky Matters.
And, because
we'll
you
try
matter. I love City.
So how can people get in touch? Your socials? How can
you can go to www.kinkymatters.com. What to do this? Like the thing they do on TV. So you can call us. Contact us. Hey, edit that part. Contact us at Kinky Matters. www.kinkymatters.com. Or you can call or send a WhatsApp +233 244 377 757. Hey.
All right, Lydia, thank you very much. Now, you are a superstar, and we are glad that you were able to come today. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Upside Down. Our guest was Lydia Forson, and earlier we also had the DWP crew right here with us. My name is Frema.
And my name is Kwamina. Catch you same time next week.